Long, long ago, in a small village surrounded by thick forests and flowing rivers, there lived a man named Obinna. He was hardworking but often lonely, for though he longed for a family, he had no wife, no children, and no companion except the breeze that whispered through his thatched hut at night. One evening, as Obinna sat outside under the moonlight, he sighed deeply. If only I had a child, someone to call me father. Even if she were as tiny as a thumb, I would love her with all my heart. The moon above seemed to hear his plea. Suddenly, a strange wind blew, carrying with it the voice of the forest spirits. Your wish shall be granted. At dawn, your daughter will arrive. Tiny she may be, but mighty beyond measure. Obinna trembled but nodded. He did not know whether it was a dream or reality. At sunrise, Obinna heard a faint cry outside his hut. He rushed out and saw, sitting on a calabash, the tiniest little girl he had ever seen, no taller than his palm. Yet her eyes sparkled like stars, and her smile shone brighter than the sun. Girl, Father, I am your daughter. My name is Adaora. Do not fear my size, for strength is hidden in small vessels. Obinna's eyes widened. My daughter? How can this be? You are smaller than a yam shoot. How will you live? How will you grow? Adaora smiled. Do not judge me by my height, Father. Test me, and you shall see. That very day, the villagers gathered to pound yam for the feast. The men struggled with the heavy pestle. It took 2 strong men to lift it. Adaora walked up, and the people laughed. Villager 1, look at this tiny doll. She wants to pound yam. Villager 2, careful, the pestle will crush her flat. But Adaora lifted the puzzle with one hand and began pounding so fast that steam rose from the mortar. The yam was ready in the blink of an eye. The villagers gasped, "This child is not ordinary." Obinna felt both pride and fear. In that village lived a group of proud wrestlers who bullied the weak. They mocked Adaora's size and called her a mistake of the gods. One day, they challenged her. Chief Wrestler, if you are truly strong, tiny one, face us in the arena. If you win, we will bow to you. But if you lose, you and your father must leave this village forever.
Obinna begged her not to go, but Adaora stood firm. Adaora said, Father, do not fear. The God sent me for a purpose. Today, the proud will learn that greatness is not measured in height or weight.
The drums rolled, the crowd gathered, and the wrestlers laughed as Adaora stepped into the ring. First came the smallest wrestler. She tossed him aside like a broomstick. Then came the strongest. She lifted him high and spun him until he begged for mercy. At last, the chief wrestler attacked with all his might. Adaora leapt, gripped him by the waist, and slammed him onto the ground so hard that the dust rose like a storm. The crowd roared, the wrestlers bowed. But peace did not last. Beyond the village, a terrible monster, half beast, half spirit, had been terrorizing nearby communities, stealing goats, yams, and even children. Warriors sent to fight it never returned. The elders gathered and said, "We need a savior, or our village will be destroyed. Let us send Adaora. Surely, if she defeated our strongest wrestlers, she can face the beast." Obinna protested, "She is my only daughter. She is still a child." But Adaora touched his hand gently. "Father, you wished for a daughter. The spirits gave you one with a mission. If I must fight the monster to protect my people, then so be it." That night, under a blood-red moon, Adaora entered the forest alone. The trees whispered warnings, but she marched boldly. From the shadows emerged the monster, huge, with flaming eyes and teeth like machetes. It roared, shaking the earth. "Who dares enter my forest?" Adaora, firmly, "I am Adaora, daughter of Obinna. Leave my people in peace or face my strength." The monster laughed, but when it charged, Adaora stood her ground. With one hand, she caught its massive arm. With the other, she struck the ground, creating a crack that swallowed the beast's leg. The monster howled and tried to escape, but Adaora leapt onto its back, tied its arms with a vine, and slammed it down. Adaora said, "Strength is not in size, but in courage and heart." The monster surrendered and promised never to trouble the village again. Adaora returned with the monster bound. The villagers danced, beat drums, and sang her praises. They lifted her high, though she was small, and crowned her the protector of the land. Villagers, all hail Adaora, the tiny giant! All hail the daughter who saved us! Obinna wept tears of joy. "Truly, she is my daughter, a blessing from the spirits." Adaora smiled and said, "Remember this, my people. Never despise the small, for the palm kernel lies in a small shell, yet it holds great oil. True strength is not in the body, but in the spirit." Moral of the story: this tale teaches us that greatness is not measured by size, appearance, or wealth, but by courage, determination, and the heart to protect others. Even the smallest among us can do mighty things when chosen by destiny.